So, well, we are back again already with our first keynote speech today at the first day of World of Freight Expo. And we would like to welcome on the stage Ms. Raquel Jimenez, and it will be a keynote speech about the Freightify. So let's enjoy the second point of our program today.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I hope you're all doing fine today. Before to start and to introduce myself, I want to test, the audience a little bit. I know that sometimes you're sitting down there, maybe you're going through your phone and all of this. But today, let's make a quick test. So I want to know how many people here are from the freight forwarding industry. Just raise your hand. Okay. IT, technology side? None? Supply chain in general? Okay. Thank you. I see that many of you are awake. Just to quickly introduce myself, as you can see, my name is Raquel Jimenez. I am actually part of the growth to market team at Freightify. For those of you that does not know much about Freightify, we are a tech company. Actually, the company is established in India, but most of the investors that we have in the meantime are from Denmark. We have grown pretty fast. The company started in 2016, actually. And we have been working mostly with freight forwarders in the meantime. We also have MBOCC as customers. And last but not least important, we also have TMS providers who are willing to integrate with us and are also customers as well. So I know that you're wondering where I'm from. Typically, I have to give this long introduction to people. I'm originally from the Dominican Republic, where I was born and raised, and then I moved to the US. I used to work there for a company that many of you know, Shipco Transport. I was working there in import LCL and procurement and so on. And then, I moved to Spain, where I actually call home now, and the place that I have lived for the last 5 years, actually, right? So a little bit of my background right there. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about digitalization advantages and, of course, the impact for you in the freight forwarding industry. And mostly today, I'm going to speak a little bit about experience. Not much about, the tech side or the technical stuff. It's mostly how this can help you. I know that many of you are struggling. As you know, we have gone the last years through a very difficult time in the industry. Many of you, for example, have been, struggling with many different things. Finding containers, not only that, these really high rates from the different, shipping lines due to the situation. Many difficulties finding information where you have, for example, to call the lines, to find details, to send emails. Sometimes it's really difficult for someone to answer to you. And then, like I say, you are struggling to provide information to many of your customers these days. But there are solutions for that. What are we doing at Freightify? We have designed a really, really cool rate management system that is going to help you these days to reduce all of this time that you are investing, pretty much trying to find information to provide this information to your customers. But of course, every time I visit this event, I find the typical talks. Some people believe that you have to do this, or, talking to people exactly, calling them on the phone, providing this information, I will say, in a service manner in which you keep the contact with your customers. But then some other companies that I speak with, they believe in technology and they believe that this needs to be done in a technological way. So I typically find this debate, how should we do this? Should we use technology to connect with people and provide them, information? Some others say, no, I think you have to do this, by the word of mouth, like I said before. You have to call your customer, you have to speak to them, and you have to make sure that they connect with somebody, It's not just about technology. They need to connect with somebody, they say. And to be honest with you, I believe that all of both are important. Why? Because us people, without technology, we can be really slow sometimes, as you know that, right? But then technology, without that human touch, it can be a little complicated sometimes, because when your customers have an issue, they want someone to hear them. It's like you sometimes. Sometimes you're calling your, I don't know, your phone company, and you don't want that machine just to give you information. You need somebody that you can speak with. You want somebody that can hear you, right? And that can just say, everything is going to be fine. This problem is going to be solved at the end of the day. But what I say is, shouldn't be separate. It shouldn't be only having technology, and it shouldn't be only people, right? It should be a combination of both. You should have technology in your companies, and you should have good customer service, good service at the end of the day. So today, we found many different freight forwarding companies that they are finding difficulties to provide rate details to their customers, to get back on time when your customers request a quote. Why specifically? Because you don't have a real visibility about what's going on. Many carriers, for example, are sending you contracts, maybe on Excel or PDF, and you have to now manage all of that information, and you have to find a way to manage all of that information. But many of them, as you know, they are providing this information through the different portals that they have, through the different websites that they have. And now, of course, you have to find all of these details one by one. You have to go to Evergreen, you have to go to MSC, you have to go to Maersk, so you can find the details. And what happens when you are in pricing, for example? These become really time-consuming. And at the end of the day, sometimes you can spend, you know, from 40 minutes to days to create a quotation. So there are solutions for that as well. I know your customers sometimes, you know, are pressuring you specifically because they're not getting the information on time. You are getting issues with, like I say here, you know, recruiting the right people that can provide all of this information. And of course, at the end of the day, what is that going to be? Loss of shipments, loss of business that you're going to have in your company, just for not using specifically the right tools, right? So as you see, how is the industry adapting these days to digital trends? We saw before some freight forwarding companies that they were not willing to adapt, they were not willing to change to technology and introduce some tools like rate management system, for example, that can help them, and they were struggling. That's what we saw in the last example. But what do you think is happening? Do you think that all the companies are going with the same ideas of, I have to do this manually, I have to speak to my customers face to face? No, as we see here, most of the big players, they're switching pretty fast to technologies. So if they're switching pretty fast to technologies and they're getting advantages out of it, why shouldn't you if you haven't started in this case? I know that many of you have already started, you know, making transitions within your companies, of course, to use more digitalization and adapt to most of the changes that are happening these days. But as you see, for example, companies like I said before, Maersk, Evergreen, Sealand, most of them are providing these details online, not like in the past where you have to call and, you know, try to find all of this information by emails. Culinago, DHL, and Schenker are actually also a really good example of how these companies are providing most of these details to their customers, either online or via digitalization tools, right? So as you see, we were comparing companies that are adapting really fast to technology. At the beginning, we started talking about the freight forwarding companies that are not actually, you know, focused on technology. But what is the difference here? What is the impact that this is going to have for your business if you don't adapt to technology in these cases? Of course, a traditional model. A customer comes to you, they ask you for a quotation. You have, for example, to check on the multiple carriers' website one by one to find a rate. You have to send emails. You have to call directly to them. And finally, when they send this information, now you have to go through specifically all of the different details, compare that information, finally create a quotation that you can send to your customer. And like I said before, how long does that take? That can take from 40 minutes or more to send only one quotation. So if one person only during the day can send maybe 10 quotations, how much business can you get out of it? You need to have more people, of course, doing that. But still, even though you have 3 or 4, they can be slow. So what I was saying at the beginning is, yes, now you can give technology to people, and we can switch from that traditional mode of, model of making things to the digital business model in which with only one platform, you can have all the information for rates from all of these different carriers, including Evergreen, Maersk, MSC, HAPA, Costco, One. Now, all of this information is going to be in one place. So what is that going to do? Reduce all of the time that you are investing trying to search all of these different rates in the different carriers, because simply now you are going to find it all in one single place. It's like you when you're going to find, like a flight. You just go maybe to Google Flight or maybe Expedia, one of these ones. You put the airport of origin and destination, and pretty fast you are going to have all of these details, right? So it's the same thing now, but for containers. You just have to put the port of origin, the port of destination in this case, and pretty fast, in less than a minute, you will have all the details from the different carriers, in this case, about rate. Doesn't that make your life easier? Right? So this is the idea. Forget about these, traditional models. Connect now to technology that can definitely help you. Like you see here, I mentioned it before, most of these carriers, they are pushing you as a freight forwarding company to go to their websites to be able to find most of these details. But sometimes, many of them are also sending to you most of these, Excel spreadsheet, and now you have to compare all of that information. So the idea is that you forget about all of that comparison that you have to do, and like I said before, you can have all of this information in only one single place. But not only that, the beauty is that you can also find ways to send a quotation to your customers directly from a range management system. So you don't have now to find the information on the shipping line, then go maybe to the system that you are using, and then provide the information to your customer. You can find the information in the rate management system, and directly from there, beautifully, you can send a quotation branded with your company logo to your customer. So what does that mean? That if you're somebody that you have in your office was sending maybe 10 quotations per day, now that person can send 50 or more quotations per day, and what can happen? Now that person can invest that time into talking to your customer, engaging with them, creating better relationship with them. And that's what I was referring in the past, that what is the beauty of, giving technology to people so now they can speed up the process and actually connect better with your customers. So it shouldn't be one or the other. It shouldn't be, yes, I provide a good service, or yes, I use technology. It has to be a combination of both things in the same case, right? So I'm going to skip this through. This is just a quick example of a company that we work with in Germany. We have many different company size in the meantime. Big ones like Siva, or medium ones like Lowing or NTG, or very, very small, like people that have maybe 2 people in the office, and they still use our tool to take advantage of the benefits that we are providing in the meantime. But the beauty of this is that you can have everything, like I say, in one single place. You can compare all of the different details from the carriers. The quote, you can send the quote directly to your customer from the platform. You can have a customer platform in which, for example, all of your clients can come through your website and find all of the details for track and trace, find the details inclusive for rates, if you want that to happen. And all of this information is cloud-based. So that means that if you want to go to the beach sometimes, and you want, for example, to check the details from there and send to one of your customers, any rate, just having a beer, for example, you can do that. And this is the beauty of having technology. Remember what happened when COVID situation came. Many of you have this capability to allow your employees to work from home. Many of you didn't, because of course, the connectivities maybe that you had needed to be connected to a network, and you have to be specifically in the office to be able to do that. So what happened during that time? How many opportunities you think you lost just by not having something very simple, you know, as a cloud-based system. So imagine what happened at that time and what happened with the different companies, I will say, that they were adapting to technologies, they were adapting to digitalization. So there is a big difference. You can move forward, you can continue, or simply you step back, right? So this is what's happening now. Most of the companies are moving towards digitalization these days. Most of these lines that you see here, they're not having that contact that they used to have with you anymore. In the past, of course, there was that close relationship with whoever was the salesperson that you have, but this is not happening these days because, of course, there is so much going on. And like I say, what is happening? All of them are guiding you through to their different websites specifically. So how can you take advantage of the beauty of having a rate management system that can allow you, like I say, to see all the information in one place, to send the quotation directly to your clients, to track the details about your shipments. Sometimes I talk to people and they don't know what's going on in their business. Oh, how many TEUs are you moving per month? I don't know. You know, between this number and this number. It's easy. If you have a system that allows you to track all of this information, sometimes you don't even know, for example, with how many containers are you sending per each shipping line? How many quotation is creating each person within your team, for example? What are the destinations that you're working with the most? Those are simple questions that can help you understand better what's going on in your business, where you should invest your energy, you know? And like I say, all of this can be answered just by having a simple system that can help you to keep all of that data organized, and that, of course, can give you a better idea of the vision of where your business is going and what's going on internally. Last but not least important, I know that some of you have already different TMS systems. We are not a TMS company. We are mostly working to help most of the freight forwarding companies to automate most of their process internally. So you can continue to have whichever the TMS or the ERP system that you have in this case. And we can also integrate with these different systems to help you have all the information, you know, aligned from the moment that you find a rate until the point that you invoice your customers, if that makes sense. So I know that I don't have so much time today to explain to you all that we are doing, but if you find me over there, we have a booth on pretty much on the entrance, and I'll be more than happy to connect with any of you and, you know, give you a better idea about what we are doing, the different products that we have in the meantime, lines that we have and connectivities that we can provide. Like I say here, Mayor Sealand, CMA, Costco, Evergreen, One, seeing most of the major players we are connected with, and you will be able to take advantage of having, you know, all of this information, like I say, in one single place. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for, you know, spending the time to listen to us today, and please, even to say hi. It's not, like I say, typically, not only about business will demand leave. So even to say hi, please feel free to connect either here or there where we have the booth. And it's truly, truly been a pleasure to connect with you today. And any questions you will have, just feel free to come over. Thank you. Appreciate the time. And I hope I can see you later on.